The sound of waves crashed against the wooden pillars of the Santa Monica Pier, seagulls cried above, and the salty breeze carried laughter from tourists and families. But that laughter turned to silence in one corner of the pier. A group of teenagers stood over a girl in a wheelchair. Her small hands clutched the wheels tightly, her head bowed down to avoid their mocking stares. One of the boys, tall and broad-shouldered, sneered cruelly and barked, "Move, Cripple," before shoving his foot against her chair. The girl jolted, the wheels rattled, and her trembling eyes filled with tears. She wanted to disappear, to sink into the ocean where no one would see her pain. The crowd around them turned away, some whispering, others too afraid to step in. It was cruelty out in the open, and yet nobody moved. If this moment already made your heart ache, please take a second to support Exposed Tales by liking this video, subscribing, and sharing your thoughts in the comments. Your support helps us continue telling powerful stories like this one. Her name was Emily Carter, a 16-year-old girl born with cerebral palsy. She had been through countless surgeries, therapy sessions, and hospital visits, but nothing hurt more than the sting of cruel words. That day, she had begged her mom to let her explore the pier alone, to feel like any other teenager enjoying freedom by the ocean. She loved the bright lights of the Ferris wheel, the smell of popcorn, and the way street performers strummed guitars under the California sun. But instead of joy, she found herself surrounded by bullies who saw her wheelchair not as a part of her life, but as something to mock. The leader of the group, Jason, smirked as his friends laughed. "Why do you even come out here? You're just in the way. People like you should stay at home." His words sliced deeper than the waves could ever cut. Emily's lips trembled. She wanted to defend herself, but her voice felt locked in her chest. All she could whisper was, "Please stop." Instead of stopping, Jason kicked at her wheel again. The chair lurched, and Emily's hand slipped. She gasped, her heart pounding with fear as her chair rolled slightly backward toward the edge of the wooden pier. People gasped. A mother pulled her child closer, and an old man shook his head. But no one stepped forward. At that very moment, a deep roar filled the air. At first, Emily thought it was thunder. But then she realized it was the sound of motorcycles. A wave of engines rumbled down Ocean Avenue, and in seconds, a group of nearly 30 bikers rolled onto the pier. They were massive, leather-clad men and women with tattoos, bandanas, and vests that looked intimidating to anyone who didn't know better. Their bikes gleamed under the California sun, chrome shining, pipes growling. The crowd instinctively stepped back, unsure of what was about to happen. The bullies froze, their smirks fading as the bikers dismounted, boots heavy against the wooden planks. At the center of the group was a man named Marcus Steele Henderson, a retired Marine and leader of the biker club Iron Brotherhood. He towered over the teenagers, his voice deep and commanding. "What do you think you're doing to her?" Jason stuttered, suddenly pale. "Nothing, sir. We were just joking." "Joking?" Steele's eyes narrowed, his tattooed arms folding across his chest. "That didn't look like a joke. That looked like you kicking a girl who can't even defend herself." He stepped closer, and Jason shrank back, his friends scattering behind him. The crowd, emboldened by the biker's presence, started whispering, some even pulling out their phones to record. Emily looked up, her tears still fresh, but for the first time that day, she didn't feel small. She felt seen. Steele knelt down beside her, his gruff voice softening. "You okay, sweetheart?" Emily nodded slowly, though her voice cracked. They called me Cripple. They tried to push me." The bikers exchanged glances, their jaws tightening with silent anger. Steele stood and looked directly at Jason. "You listen to me, boy. Strength isn't about how hard you can hit or who you can pick on. Strength is about lifting people up, protecting those who need it. You think you're strong. You're weak, and one day you'll learn life doesn't look kindly on cowards." Jason muttered something under his breath, but Steele stepped forward, his presence overwhelming. Jason's friends urged him to leave, and finally, humiliated and shaking, the bullies fled into the crowd. The pier erupted into applause. Strangers clapped, some even cheered. But Emily didn't hear the noise. She only saw the circle of bikers surrounding her, not with menace, but with protection. Steele asked where her parents were, and soon Emily's mother, who had been looking for her, came rushing down the pier. She froze at the sight of her daughter surrounded by leather-clad bikers. But when she saw Emily smiling through tears, she understood. Emily introduced them to her mother, her words shaky but full of gratitude. "They saved me, Mom. They saved me." Over the next hour, the bikers stayed by Emily's side. They bought her cotton candy, lifted her chair so she could see the ocean from the rail, and even gave her a ride around the parking lot on one of their trikes, strapping her chair safely behind. For the first time in a long time, Emily felt like she belonged, not as the cripple those bullies saw her as, but as someone strong, cherished, and unstoppable. But the challenges weren't over. In the following weeks, Emily still faced cruel whispers at school. Jason and his gang spread rumors, trying to cover their shame. Yet Emily no longer felt powerless. The memory of the bikers, the sound of engines roaring to her defense, lived in her heart. One day, when Jason called her a name in the hallway, Emily looked him straight in the eye and said firmly, "You don't get to decide my worth." "I do." The hallway went silent, and for the first time Jason had no comeback. That night, Emily shared her story online. The post went viral. Millions read about the bikers who stood up for a disabled girl at Santa Monica Pier. Messages of love and support poured in from around the world. People told her she gave them courage. Some even admitted her story stopped them from taking their own lives. Emily realized something powerful. Her pain had turned into a platform for change. Years later, Emily stood on that same pier, no longer the timid girl hiding from stares. She had become an advocate for disability rights, giving speeches, writing books, and reminding people that strength comes from the heart, not the body. And every year, the Iron Brotherhood bikers rode with her in a charity rally, raising money for children with disabilities. Her story became proof that kindness can rise from unexpected places, that strangers can become protectors, and that even the cruelest words can be drowned out by the roar of compassion. Before we close, if Emily's journey touched you, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Exposed Tales. Your support means the world, and together we can keep spreading stories that inspire change. As the sun set behind the Ferris wheel, Emily whispered to herself, "I am not broken, I am unshakable." And in the distance, the rumble of motorcycles answered like thunder, reminding her she was never truly alone.